Mark Shanahan is an associate professor and head of Department for Politics and International Relations at the University of Reading. He joins us now from Reading in the UK. Good to have you with us. President Trump has praised China's President Xi on Twitter, calling him a great leader, adding that talks are continuing. What do you make of President Trump's performance at the G7? He talks tough before he gets there, but appears to soften his rhetoric when he's actually face-to-face with other leaders.
This is very much the Janus-faced presidency that we often see from Trump. He talks tough because he's talking to a home audience, the audience that may get him re-elected in the United States next year. And it's very much for domestic consumption. He is not a great foreign policy president. He is not a great negotiator. So when he actually gets in this kind of multilateral talks, he tends to go a little bit quiet. He goes a little bit softer. He listens a little bit more to the likes of Merkel, Macron, and the rest around the table there. And he likes to be loved. And therefore, he doesn't want to make terrible gaffes, nor does he want to go out very much on a limb on his own. So he is always quieter at this kind of meeting.
All right, talking about not wanting to make gaffes, what are we to make of the mixed messages we're getting from President Trump, particularly over Russia?
This has been a great G7 for Putin. What we're seeing here at the meeting in Biarritz is not actually that much unity. They will always talk a good game. There is no communique at the end of this meeting, but they'll always talk about how they are working together. Actually, the G7 is probably less unified than it has ever been. Trump is very much an outlier. We don't know what to make of his relationship with Putin or what hold Putin has over him. On the one hand, he is very strong in attacking Russian influence, particularly within America. But on the other hand, he wants to welcome him back and extend this to a G8. He says some people are asking for a G8. He doesn't actually ever specify who those some people are. And I suspect they're not the other 6 leaders sitting around the table. As
you say, Russia not represented at the G7 this year. Neither is Brazil. Does it matter?
You're looking at a G7 which essentially is the majority of the world's global wealth and the majority of the world's global trade. Brazil isn't in that category, nor is Russia. Russia talks a very good game, but we are not talking of the empires of the past. It is a struggling economy. The one you might say, why aren't they here, are China. And why is China not a part of this group at the moment? For Brazil, Bolsonaro sits beside Trump as one of those strong populist leaders, and Trump doesn't want to alienate him. But there is a strong pushback from the rest of the global leaders about the environmental destruction that Bolsonaro is largely causing within his own country. So again, we get these mixed messages, we get this lack of unity. And while there is a lack of unity, there won't actually be particularly strong action against Bolsonaro.
You say that it's not been a good G7, but at least it hasn't ended in acrimony like last year's. And President Trump appears at the moment to be seeing it through to the end.
Though not sitting in on the key talks this morning. We have a G6 plus 1 at the moment. So you could talk about the Europeans, the Canadians, the Japanese all being together on this, and Trump still being the outlier. He's not an actual diplomat. He doesn't like multilateral settings. He far prefers the art of the deal that comes from bilateral conversations. And that's where things have worked well for him on this meeting. He's had his little acolyte, Boris Johnson, standing one step down on the stairs, looking very, very pleased to be there and to get the nice words from Trump. That, again, will play well in America. Everything now is about the Trump campaign for 2020. Setting the meeting next year in Miami, again, will play very, very well with the Trump voters. And that's what he wants to achieve. Look at how he presents himself. He is front and center. He's saying that Zarif was only at that meeting because of his permission. It wasn't his permission to give. It was an invitation from Macron, who is hosting this meeting. So Trump likes to feel very important, likes to feel loved, and it's just about got away with it this time round.
Mark, really good to talk to you. Many thanks indeed. Mark Shanahan there in Reading.